I think it's pretty much a given that when someone's sentenced to jail for committing a crime, it's a foregone conclusion that the offender must surrender certain liberties, the principal one being freedom, of course. That's the very concept of jail. It's a real-life penalty box in which you are temporarily removed from society. And as Beretta would say, if you can't do the time, then don't do the crime. So what does one make of a proposal by Jack Suarez, a criminal who's serving a 17-year prison sentence after he was found to be the managing director of a drug gang that imported heroin and cocaine to the UK? You see, after spending about 5 years in an English crowbar hotel, Suarez claims he's come up with a progressive idea that will surely put an end to prison mischief, as he calls it. Namely, his whiz-bang concept is that since UK prisons don't allow conjugal visits, prisoners should be issued sex dolls. Yeah, and just to crank up the cringe factor, Suarez doesn't want prisons to issue run-of-the-mill, off-the-shelf sex dolls. No, he wants custom jobs for the convicts. In other words, the idea would be that a prisoner would submit a photo of a loved one so that the sex doll manufacturer could incorporate that person's specific facial features onto the doll. But as Suarez notes, quote, "The trouble is our prisons are full of young men filled with testosterone who would give their right arm for a bit of passion. The frustration of this situation makes these young men restless and wanting to cause mischief," end quote. But with a sex doll as a bunkmate, prison could become more pleasant, even though prison isn't really supposed to be pleasant. That's the whole idea behind prison. Prison is supposed to be an unpleasant place, a place you should try your best to avoid. Even so, Suarez notes that a convict and his sex doll could, quote, "enjoy date nights, watch the soaps together, listen to music, everything that you would normally do with your partner," end quote. Gee, everything? See, it ain't so. Now, I'm tempted to dismiss such claptrap as the delusional rant of an incarcerated drug dealer, except that over the decades, we've seen the left continually champion prisoner rights while turning a blind eye to victims' rights. For example, Canadian prisoners now have the right to vote, thanks to a 2002 Supreme Court decision. And have you ever checked out the William Head facility just south of Victoria, BC? Oh, this posh prison resembles a summer camp rather than a penitentiary, given that inmates live in duplexes, cook their own meals, wear their own clothes, and if they want some recreation, they can head over to the tennis courts. What? No polo grounds? Gee, someone call the John Howard Society. Thus, I fear that perhaps it's only a matter of time that, based on compassionate grounds, convicts might one day be issued their very own customized sex dolls. And hey, if a convict can't afford such a silicone stress reliever, well, I'm sure taxpayers can be counted on to make those sex doll dreams come true, because we certainly don't want these poor convicts to suffer from cruel and unusual punishment, do we? For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Like what you just saw? Then click subscribe below and never miss another Rebel video.